Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 700 Club. The family of the surviving National Guardsman who was severely wounded in the shooting attack in Washington, D.C. is asking for prayer. 24-year-old Andrew Wolf is hospitalized in critical condition.
Government analysts have a theory about why the alleged gunman may have shot two members of the Guard, killing one of them. Dale Hurd has the story.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says authorities believe the suspected gunman, 29-year-old Rachmanella Lockenwall, who allegedly shot Guard members Sarah Beckstrom and Andrew Wolf, might have been radicalized after he arrived in the United States.
As we continue to talk to his family and his contacts, more details will be revealed, and we'll release those when it's appropriate. But this is something that, for these individuals, when they're brought into our country, it's a dangerous situation. If you don't know who they are, if they're coming from a country that's not stable and doesn't have a government that can help you vet them, that we shouldn't allow it.
Lockenwall, an Afghan national who worked with the CIA during the war in Afghanistan, will be charged with first-degree murder. He came to the U.S. after Afghanistan's government fell to the Taliban in 2021 and was granted asylum in April this year. He lived in Washington state, and authorities say he drove to D.C. to carry out the attack. Aboard Air Force One Sunday, President Trump spoke about his decision to pause all Afghan asylum requests.
How long does your administration plan to pause asylum into the U.S.?
I think a long time.
Can you give any kind of time?
We don't want those people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
It is outrageous and unfair to try to punish an entire class of people for the evil acts of one person.
However, the New York Post reports that more than 5,000 Afghans brought to the U.S. after American forces withdrew from the country were flagged as potential national security threats. The father of 20-year-old National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, who died in last week's attack, posted on Facebook, "My baby girl has passed to glory. If I don't talk to you, don't be offended. This has been a horrible tragedy." And the family of 24-year-old Guardsman Andrew Wolf, who is in critical condition, say their son is a fighter. West Virginia Congressman Riley Moore, who spoke to the Wolf family, is asking everyone to join in prayer for his recovery.
Above all, what they want here is for everybody to continue to pray. I believe in the power of prayer, and I can promise you his parents believe in the power of prayer. Please keep praying.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Thank you, Dale. As we mourn 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom, let's continue to please pray for the family and pray for Andrew Wolf specifically. In other news, an extraordinary political development in Israel. Ephraim Graham has that story and more from the CBN newsroom. Ephraim.
Andrew, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is requesting a presidential pardon from Israel's President Isaac Herzog. The request is unprecedented, and if granted, it would end one of the longest trials in Israel's history. Chris Mitchell brings us the story. He's reporting from Jerusalem.
The office of President Herzog called it an extraordinary request, carrying significant implications. While Netanyahu is charged with fraud, breach of trust, and accepting bribes in 3 separate cases, he's not been convicted of anything. During an address to the nation, Netanyahu did not admit guilt and explained his request.
The trial has been going on for close to 6 years, and it is expected to continue for many more years, as the exonerating evidence and testimonies that completely dismantle the false claims against me are revealed in court. My personal interest has been and remains to continue the process to its conclusion and to full acquittal on all charges.
Recently, the judges in his case required Netanyahu to testify 3 times a week. He called that a tipping point, an impossible demand, and said that a pardon would help unify the country in the face of multiple threats against the Jewish state.
The continuation of the trial tears us apart from within, stirs up this division, and deepens rifts. I am sure, like many others in the nations, that an immediate conclusion of the trial would greatly help to lower the flames and promote the broad reconciliation that our country so desperately needs.
The request comes just weeks after U.S. President Trump urged Herzog to pardon Netanyahu when he spoke to the Knesset.
I have an idea.
Mr. President, why don't you give him a pardon?
Opposition leader Yair Lapid called on Herzog to reject Netanyahu's appeal.
You cannot grant him a pardon without an admission of guilt, an expression of remorse, and an immediate retirement from political life.
Israeli media reports say President Herzog is considering a conditional plea deal for Netanyahu. But Herzog's office denied that. They say Herzog is waiting for a legal opinion on Netanyahu's request. It could be weeks before Herzog issues his response. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Here at home, Mississippi street preacher's arrest outside of a concert venue is at the center of a case before the United States Supreme Court. The outcome could have a widespread impact on challenging local laws people say violate their rights. Tara Mergener has this story.
Gabriel Olivier, an evangelical street preacher, says a Brandon, Mississippi law barring him from public property violated his religious freedom and right to free speech. After lower courts blocked him from challenging the law, the U.S. Supreme Court takes up a procedural question that could set a precedent for future free speech disputes.
I made some mistakes.
At the Brandon Amphitheater, concerts draw big audiences.
They love to go out and tell folks about Jesus.
Olivier sees those crowds as an opportunity to share his faith.
They hand out gospel tracts to people and tell them about the message of Christ as they're walking to the concert.
After complaints that he spoke too loud and shouted insults, the city used a local ordinance ordering Olivier to stay within a designated protest area around the amphitheater. When he returned to the main walkway, authorities cited, fined, and gave him a suspended 10-day jail sentence.
They refer to it as a protest and a demonstration. And of course, evangelism really doesn't amount to those things. So by utilizing these vague terms, in practicality and in application, it really becomes a situation where the city removes and silences a speech that they don't like.
Olivier didn't appeal because that would have only challenged the conviction, not the ordinance. Instead, he sued to prevent the city from using the law again. Lower courts threw it out, however, saying he used a process meant for only people in custody. Since Olivier served no time, his lawyer sought no other recourse.
Religious liberty really is front and center of this issue, and the reason is because this guarantee that we have to freely exercise our religion, this guarantee that we have to share our faith to fellow citizens in public, really is meaningless if we don't have the opportunity to protect those rights in court.
The city of Brandon disagrees, and in a statement to CBN News, the city's attorney writes, the petitioner was convicted under a municipal ordinance and elected not to utilize any of the mechanisms available under Mississippi law to challenge it. Instead, while on probation, he collaterally attacked his criminal judgment through a civil tort lawsuit that requested monetary damages and attorney's fees, among other relief. Both the district court and the Fifth Circuit rejected the petitioner's subversion of state law.
Jesus is the answer.
Free speech advocates believe the case raises a broader concern over the use of designated protest zones to limit public expression and local government's power to control speech in public spaces.
If they can limit your free speech in a public park, then they have, really taken away a fundamental right. And it just becomes more and more restrictive.
The justices will not rule on whether Brandon's ordinance violates the First Amendment, only whether Olivier still has standing to sue after his conviction and whether people not in jail can challenge a law before it's used again.
The ruling could redefine when citizens can fight local laws they believe go too far. A decision is expected later this term. In Washington, Tara Mergener, CBN News.
The Christmas season is officially underway. Families from our Hampton Roads, Virginia community came out yesterday to enjoy the season's cheer at the Founders Inn. Take a look.
Once again, the sounds of the season were a delight to all ears at the Founders Inn Grand Illumination event. The hundreds who came enjoyed local dance groups, community choirs, horse-drawn carriage rides, face painting, balloon art, Irish dancers, and a massive Christmas tree.
We enjoyed the dancing and the singing and hot chocolate and balloons, and we're looking forward to face painting and a carriage ride.
Oh no, we come every year. We've been here for, wow, 5-6 years already.
I'm looking forward to the people dancing and singing.
Carrying on the tradition of his father, Gordon Robertson read the Christmas story from the Bible.
Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is Christ, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloth and lying in a manger.
Then, the special moment arrived as the crowd filled the garden.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Amidst thousands of sparkling lights, he wished one and all a very Merry Christmas.
Beautiful. And the good news, it gets even more festive for the next 2 weekends. Andrew and Jerry.
It does. That's always a great event. And my wife and daughter went last night for a little while, and you know, that the yearly tradition, and to see Gordon reading the scriptures to the kids. Pat used to do it year after year. You've done it on occasion as well. It's a sweet time.
It's a beautiful time. You know, the grounds of the Founders Inn are so beautiful. They've got an English garden out back overlooking the pond, and when everything lights up, it's very magical. It's
and
really
here we are, December 1st already. People are in
Where did November go?
We hope you can get into the Christmas spirit today. In fact, coming up later in the show, my daughter and I are going to do a baking segment. It's a good holiday treat. I hope maybe you'll take notes on the recipe and maybe make it with your family.
Can't wait to see it. Well, Christmas Village returns this year to the CBN Regent campus for 2 festive weekends, December 4 through 6 and December 11 through 13. The Christmas marketplace is going to be filled with arts and craft vendors and food items available for purchase. You can also enjoy, if you come, rides, a live nativity, live musical groups and performances. We've got Santa's Cottage and much more. If you're interested, for tickets and information, go to VirginiaChristmasVillage.com. That's VirginiaChristmasVillage.com. It's going to be a wonderful time out there.
Campus looks terrific.
Gorgeous.